Cell, the building block of life. Question bank, answers and exercises. 1. Define the following terms. A. Cell, the basic structural and functional unit of life, the smallest unit that can be called living. B. Resolution, the ability to see two close objects as separate and distinct. For the human eye, the limit is 0.1 millimeters. C. Osmosis, the movement of water from a region of higher water concentration, lower solute concentration, to a region of lower water concentration, higher solute concentration, across a selectively permeable membrane. D. Organelle, a tiny subcellular structure inside the cytoplasm that performs a specific function, for example, mitochondria, ribosomes. E. Tissue, a group of similar cells performing a similar function. 2. Who discovered the cell and how? Robert Hooke discovered cells in 1665. Using a self-designed microscope, he observed a thin slice of cork and saw small box-like compartments, which he named cells. He was actually seeing the dead cell walls of plant cells. Question 3. Differentiate between prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells. Feature prokaryotic cell, eukaryotic cell. Nucleus, no well-defined true nucleus, nucleoid only. Well-defined membrane-bound nucleus, membrane-bound. Organelles, absent, present, size 1 to 10 micrometers, 10 to 100 micrometers. Examples, bacteria. Plant and animal cells. Question 4. Differentiate between a plant cell and an animal cell. Feature plant cell, animal cell. Cell wall, present, cellulose, absent. Plastids, present, e.g. chloroplasts, absent. Vacuole, one large central vacuole, small temporary vacuoles. Shape, fixed, box-like. Irregular, can change shape. Question 5. Why is the cell membrane called selectively permeable? Because it allows only certain substances to pass through while blocking others. It controls what enters and leaves the cell, helping maintain a stable internal environment. Question 6. What happens when a plant cell and an animal cell are placed in a concentrated, hypertonic sugar solution? Explain. In a concentrated solution, water moves out of both cells by osmosis. The animal cell shrinks because it has no cell wall. The plant cell loses water and its contents pull inward, but its outer shape stays the same because the rigid cell wall holds it in place. Question 7. Name the powerhouse of the cell and give a reason. Mitochondrion. It breaks down glucose during cellular respiration and releases energy stored as ATP, which powers the cell's activities, hence, powerhouse. Question 8. State the cell theory. 1. All living organisms are made of one or more cells. 2. The cell is the basic unit of structure and function in living things. 3. All cells arise from pre-existing cells, proposed by Schleiden, Schwann, and Virchow. Question 9. Differentiate between mitosis and meiosis. Feature mitosis, meiosis, daughter cells. 2, 4. Chromosome number, same as parent. Half of parent, where it occurs. Body, somatic cells, reproductive cells. Purpose, growth, repair, asexual reproduction, sexual reproduction, variation. Question 10. Why do red blood cells, RBCs, lack a nucleus? Mature RBCs lose their nucleus to make more room for hemoglobin, so they can carry more oxygen. As a result, they cannot repair or divide and survive about 120 days. Multiple choice questions, MCQs. The cell was discovered by A. Schleiden, B. Robert Hooke, C. Camillo Golgi, D. Virchow. Answers. 1. B. Robert Hooke. The limit of resolution of the human eye is A. 1 millimeter, B, 0.1 millimeter, C, 0.01 millimeter, D, 1 micrometer? Answers: B, 0.1 millimeter. Which organelle is called the powerhouse of the cell? A, ribosome, B, Golgi apparatus, C, mitochondrion, D, lysosome? Answers: C, mitochondrion. The green pigment in chloroplasts is A, hemoglobin, B, chlorophyll, C, melanin, D, carotene? Answers: B, chlorophyll. Which of these is present in plant cells but not in animal cells? A, nucleus, B, mitochondria, C, cell wall, D, ribosomes? Answers: C, cell wall, D. The site of protein synthesis in a cell is A, lysosome, B, ribosome, C, vacuole, D, Golgi apparatus? Answers: B, ribosome. Movement of water across a selectively permeable membrane is A, diffusion, B, osmosis, C, respiration, D, transpiration? Answers: B, osmosis. Which cell division produces gametes? A, mitosis, B, binary fission, C, meiosis, D, budding? Answers: C, meiosis. D. The cell wall of a plant is mainly made of A, protein, B, lipid, C, cellulose, D, starch? Answers: C, cellulose. Suicide bags of the cell are A, ribosomes, B, lysosomes, C, vacuoles, D, plastids? Answers: B, lysosomes. Fill in the blanks. The cell was first observed by blank in 1665. 1. Robert Hooke. The control center of the cell is the blank. 2. Nucleus. Blank is the movement of water across a selectively permeable membrane. 3. Osmosis. The energy currency of the cell is blank. 4. ATP. Blank cells lack a true nucleus. 5. Prokaryotic. The green pigment chlorophyll is found in the blank. 6. Chloroplast. The cell wall of plants is made of blank. 7. Cellulose. Mitosis produces daughter cells. 8. 2. Meiosis produces cells with the chromosome number. 9. Half. The large fluid-filled sac in a plant cell is the 10. Central vacuole. True or false? Correct the false ones. All cells have a cell wall. False. Only plant, fungal, and bacterial cells have a cell wall. Mitochondria have their own DNA. True. The nucleus is the powerhouse of the cell. False. The mitochondrion is the powerhouse. Osmosis is a special case of diffusion. True. Animal cells have a large central vacuole. False. Plant cells have the large central vacuole. Lysosomes help in protein synthesis. False. Ribosomes carry out protein synthesis. Lysosomes do cleanup or digestion. Meiosis occurs in body cells. False. Meiosis occurs in reproductive cells. Cancer cells show contact inhibition. False. Cancer cells lose contact inhibition and divide uncontrollably. Assertion, reason. Choose. A. Both A and R true. R explains A. B. Both true. R does not explain A. C. A true, R false. D. A false, R true. A. RBCs cannot repair themselves. R. Mature RBCs have no nucleus. A. A. Plant cells keep their shape in concentrated solutions. R. Plant cells have a rigid cell wall. A. A. Mitochondria are called the powerhouse of the cell. R. Mitochondria store food as starch. C. Mitochondria release energy as ATP. They do not store starch. Very short answer. Name the scientist who proposed all cells arise from pre-existing cells. Virchow. Which organelle packages and ships materials? Golgi apparatus. What is the jelly-like material inside a cell called? Cytoplasm. Name the plastid that stores food. Leucoplast. What is the unit used to measure cell size? Micrometer. Name the process by which a wound heals. Cell division. Mitosis. Short answer with model answers. 1. Why is the cell called the structural and functional unit of life? Model answer. The cell is called the structural unit of life because the bodies of all living organisms are made up of cells. It is called the functional unit because all basic life processes, such as nutrition, respiration, growth, repair, and reproduction, occur at the cellular level. 2. Explain osmosis with the potato experiment. Activity 2.2. Model answer. In the potato osmosis experiment, one potato piece is kept in plain water and another is kept in a concentrated salt-sugar solution. The potato in plain water gains water and swells because water enters its cells by osmosis. The potato in concentrated solution loses water and shrinks because water moves out of its cells. This proves that water moves across a selectively permeable membrane from a dilute solution to a concentrated solution. 3. Describe the fluid mosaic model of the cell membrane. Model answer. According to the fluid mosaic model, the cell membrane is made of a lipid bilayer with proteins embedded in it. The water-loving heads of lipid molecules face outward, while the water-repelling tails face inward. It is called fluid because the molecules can move within the membrane. It is called mosaic because lipids and proteins are arranged like a pattern of tiles. 4. What are the functions of rough ER and smooth ER? Model answer. Rough ER, RER, has ribosomes on its surface, so it helps in protein synthesis and secretion. Smooth ER, SER, does not have ribosomes and helps in the synthesis and storage of fats, lipids, and some hormones. The ER also helps in transporting materials within the cell. 5. How are mitochondria and chloroplasts similar in structure and origin? Model answer. Mitochondria and chloroplasts are both double membrane-bound organelles. Both have their own DNA and ribosomes and can make some of their own proteins. These features suggest that they may have evolved from ancient free-living bacteria that began living inside larger cells. This idea is called the endosymbiotic theory. 6. Distinguish between diffusion and osmosis. Model answer. Diffusion is the movement of particles from a region of higher concentration to a region of lower concentration. It may happen without a membrane. Osmosis is a special type of diffusion in which only water moves across a selectively permeable membrane from a dilute solution to a concentrated solution. Long answer with model answers. 1. Describe the structure and function of the nucleus. Model answer. The nucleus is usually the most prominent organelle in a eukaryotic cell. It is surrounded by a double-layered nuclear membrane containing pores, which allow exchange of materials between the nucleus and the cytoplasm. Inside the nucleus is the nucleolus, where ribosomal subunits are made. The nucleus contains DNA, which carries hereditary instructions in the form of genes. DNA is present as chromatin in a non-dividing cell and condenses into chromosomes before cell division. Therefore, the nucleus controls cell activities and passes genetic information to daughter cells. 2. Explain the structure of a mitochondrion and how it produces energy. Model answer. A mitochondrion is a double membrane-bound organelle. It has a smooth outer membrane and an inner membrane folded into cristae. These folds increase the surface area for energy-producing reactions. In mitochondria, glucose is broken down during cellular respiration, and the released energy is stored in ATP, adenosine triphosphate. ATP is called the energy currency of the cell because it powers cellular activities. Hence, mitochondria are called the powerhouse of the cell. 3. Compare a plant cell and an animal cell with a labeled diagram. Model answer. Plant and animal cells are both eukaryotic and contain a cell membrane, cytoplasm, nucleus, mitochondria, ribosomes, and Golgi apparatus. However, a plant cell has a cell wall, chloroplasts, plastids, and a large central vacuole. An animal cell lacks a cell wall and plastids and usually has small temporary vacuoles. Plant cells are usually fixed and box-like in shape, while animal cells are more flexible and irregular. In the diagram, label cell wall, cell membrane, cytoplasm, nucleus, chloroplast, and central vacuole for a plant cell. Label cell membrane, cytoplasm, nucleus, mitochondria, ribosomes, Golgi apparatus, and lysosome for an animal cell. 4. Explain the process and significance of mitosis and meiosis. Model answer. Mitosis is a type of cell division in which one parent cell divides to form two genetically identical daughter cells. Each daughter cell has the same chromosome number as the parent cell. Mitosis helps in growth, repair, replacement of damaged cells, and asexual reproduction. Meiosis occurs in reproductive cells and produces 4 daughter cells, each with half the chromosome number of the parent cell. These cells become gametes. During fertilization, the full chromosome number is restored. Meiosis is important because it supports sexual reproduction and creates genetic variation. 5. State the cell theory and explain its importance, including contact inhibition and programmed cell death. Model answer. Cell theory states that 1. All living organisms are made of one or more cells. 2. The cell is the basic unit of structure and function. And 3. All cells arise from pre-existing cells. This theory is important because it explains the common cellular basis of all living organisms. In animals, normal cells usually stop dividing when they touch neighboring cells. This is called contact inhibition. Cancer cells lose this control and divide uncontrollably, forming tumors. Programmed cell death, PCD, is a controlled process by which unnecessary or damaged cells die, helping maintain balance in the body.